Hello and welcome to day 21 of our 30-day reset. We only have 9 more days to go where we're resetting and changing our lives one word at a time. I just hope and pray that this journey has been a great one for you, that you have taken the time to self-evaluate and really dig deep within yourself, to look within on those things that maybe you didn't even realize that you were holding on to, that it's time to just release. I hope it's been a blessing for you thus far. Just 9 more days to go. So, again, before we get started, click like and share this video. And while you're there, let me know where you're watching. I would love to know where these videos are reaching. And next, go over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. In doing so, it will allow our audience to broaden so that others can come and take this journey along with us. And lastly, there's a link in the bio that will take you to Amazon to purchase a copy of 30-Day Reset. If for some reason you cannot purchase this book, inbox me for a discounted PDF copy, because your transformation is so much more important to me than you purchasing this book, because I just simply want you to take this journey along with us. And today, we are focusing on naivety, being naive, just being simple, as the words say. And the scripture today talks about it, and it's the same scripture that we use about being dysfunctional. It comes from Proverbs 14 and 15. The simple believes anything, but the prudent gives thought to their steps. This text, we used it before with being dysfunction, because being naive is a form of dysfunction. It's a form of dysfunction that a lot of us have in our lives, as we speak. The scripture talks about us just being simple and prudent and being wise and making wise decisions. A simple person will just do, believe, and go with anything, but a prudent person, a wise person, they think before they make a decision. To be like the prudent, it is to think carefully about those choices and not being easily swayed or misled by being naive. It highlights the importance of exercising wisdom and discernment and critical thinking in navigating life's decision. Essentially, it advises against a blind acceptance of everything without thoughtful consideration. Being naive, we don't think. Let's just be honest. When a person is naive, they don't think about what is being said sometimes. And we know that what's being said to us is not true, but we're so naive that we just accept it. I want to read some of the book, and it says, "Today I release being naive, saying, it's okay. No, that's just not what they are. No, that's not who or what they meant, or I just misunderstood." Guess what? My out was always, "I'm sorry. I didn't realize I apologize so much for not understanding someone else's foolishness." Why? Because I was being naive. And I knew that what they were saying were not true. It wasn't true. It wasn't to be true, and it wasn't going to ever become true. But I was always okay. And after a while, I was like, oh, I'm apologizing for you telling me a lie. What sense does that make? But I was being naive in moments, and that just followed me. It wasn't just as an adult, but these are things that probably I can honestly say that I was doing as a child, because I wanted that friendship, because I wanted that group, or I wanted to be in that group. And I know they didn't care anything about me. Maybe they were talking about me as soon as I walked away, but that was the naive part of who I am. And when we become adults with these things that we grew up with as dysfunctional as a child, it follows us. And being naive is one of them. We would give another child, when we were younger, our snacks or our toys or whatever, because we wanted to be their friend. And it's being naive of knowing they don't care anything about us. And it's all this way in our adulthood. We have been in relationships. I have been in relationship where I knew they didn't care. I knew they didn't want to be bothered with me. I knew I didn't have what they wanted nor needed in a moment. But because of what I wanted, anything they shot at me, I accepted. That was me being naive. And I found myself knowing, oh, I went there, I did this, and I know that they were not there. They didn't do that. But I would still, sooner or later, when it turned into an argument, say, oh, I'm so sorry. That was me being naive. And today, I would just want us to check ourselves and call people out for what they are and who they are, and stop allowing yourself to accept just anything. Let's just stop being simple. In the book, it says, because that this naive will not continue in my life. Now I will not take to heart something I'm told and acknowledge the lie when it's being told to me. If it's not them, to God, and function accordingly. No one will ever have that much power over me ever again. Ever again, what I just accept what is being said, what I know someone is lying to me. Something I watched a while back, and they said that sometimes you don't have to say anything. And I took this to heart. You don't have to say anything to them. You don't have to accept it. But what you can say, God, you see that? Handle it. So I encourage you today, when you know that someone is lying to you, when you know that they're not being forthcoming, you don't have to be that naive person and just accept it. If you don't say anything to them, because sometimes silence is much more power than saying anything. If you don't say anything to them, say it to God. God, you see that? Handle it. Because God can handle things much more in a greater way than you could ever handle it. So I challenge you today to just stop accepting just anything. Be the prudent person that you know God has called you to be, that you have the power of being, that you know you can be, and just stop being simple. In the words of my mom, she would say, oh, they just so simple. And when she said it at that time, I didn't understand what she meant, but it's understanding these scriptures. Now I understand what she means. You don't have to be simple, but I encourage you to start today being prudent and stop being naive. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to feel bad. And you just don't have to love or be loved by someone that's not being true, not being honest, and not being wise to you. Use your own wisdom and take into consideration that they can be wrong. Stop being naive. And today, I thank you for taking this challenge with me. And I pray that you look within yourself and stop this dysfunctional part of you of being naive. Thank you. And I will see you here tomorrow.